Peace, family. Welcome to another episode, Underground Railroad Productions. Yo, this your host, Brother Rich. I ain't been on the streets interviewing in a long time, Red. We ain't been out here in a long time, my brother.
That's facts. It's been a minute now.
Yo, it's good to be out here. We're going to have a amazing video today for the people. I just wanted to make a couple of announcements real quick. I hope I'm not clipping. I'm turning this down, family. I hope the mic is good. A couple of quick announcements. I had to change my other channel, which I'm probably going to upload this to. I might upload a small clip on Black Magic, but I might upload this to the other channel. But it's Brother Rich 363. So just type in Brother Rich 363. That's my other channel. That's going to be my new channel, my backup channel. Just in case anything happens to Black Magic 363, I had to get rid of some Dick Gregory videos and some other videos, and that's when I knew I need to have a backup channel just in case anything happens to this channel. So Brother Rich 363, the first name I chose, for some reason people weren't finding it. That's the first thing I want to let you know. Second thing, make sure you sign up to Patreon. The audiobook version of Keys to Inner Space will be on Patreon next Friday. This is the book that is out of print. Nobody can find it anywhere. Keys to Inner Space, the audiobook version, which I'm taking time out of my life and I'm doing it myself. I'm doing it myself, the audio version. It's out of print. You can't buy it, so I might as well just do it. People keep calling me, asking me about it. It's been months now. Sign up to Patreon to get the audio version. Keys to Inner Space, hands down the book of the year. The best book I've read this entire year, probably the last 3-4 years. Last announcement, the most amazing lecture I ever produced is about to go down November 3rd. I'm just going to let you know this right now. Billy Carson is coming to New York City. I'm bringing Billy Carson to New York City. He's coming with some explosive information that I have never in my life heard. Tickets will go on sale next Monday. Right now, he's the headliner. I'm going to talk about the other speakers. It's the 2020 Ascension Conference. It's going down November 3rd at St. Francis College in New York City. Cam Bada will be the guest performer, so there will be a musical act as well. And the other speakers will be announced real soon within this weekend. So stay tuned, family, but this is guaranteed to be the best event Brother Rich has ever put together. I had to make sure that this was different. I had to expand my platform, and I had to go outside of the norm and outside of who you're used to getting. So Billy Carson is the perfect candidate for that. The brother's all over TV, Dame Dash networks everywhere. And with that being said, Red, let's get to our show.
Yes, sir. Let's get it.
All over the news today, my brother Tekashi 6ix9ine. Some people may say snitching. Some people may say dry snitching. Some people may say ratting. Some people may say, hey, sometimes a lot of people, before they do grimy shit, in order to justify it, they say self-preservation.
They preserving themselves.
Yeah,
Number one
law of nature.
Number one law of nature.
We got a lot of experts that say that, self-preservation. So with that being said, Red, everything you see today, I want to start out like this. Before we go into everything's going on in the case, who do you blame? Because obviously we know Tekashi ain't a street dude. But when you look at Shoddy, when you look at Mel Murder, the way they propped him up to be to make profit and make money off him, do you blame them because they was a part of this gang culture and they knew he wasn't about that life, and they knew things could go wrong by putting this dude on a certain plateau? Do you blame Mel Murder, or I don't want to, do you blame Shoddy and whoever was his handlers for what happened, or do you blame Tekashi and say he's the rat, he's the bad guy, he's the snitch? Do you look at them and blame them, Red?
Well, when it comes to this situation, this lesson,
a valuable lesson.
This valuable lesson for everybody that are participating in the culture should sit back and heed. Everybody's to be held accountable. Nobody is without fault in the situation. You know, what you're looking at is a classic case of extortion. That's basically what this is. What you're looking at is a classic case or behind the scenes look on how damn near everybody who became gang affiliated after they got a record deal, this is what they're going through. It's a sophisticated form of extortion. The mafia perfected this. They would do the same thing. They were basically leaning on performers and they were utilizing their muscle, and they were utilizing their protection, and they were utilizing their reach to basically have artists on the payroll. All right. So as a result of him being on the payroll, he was feeding the gang. He was feeding the, well, this is all according to his testimony, family. So there's no speculation, and we ain't out here guessing or shooting from the hip. This is all according to the testimony that a cooperating witness of the federal government gave under oath, right? So according to his testimony, he basically became a blood, or he was blooded in, because the pressure was being applied on him by people in his neighborhood who were beginning to extort him after he became a moneymaker inside of the industry, after he became a quote-unquote earner. Then they decided to say, you know what, we'll protect you, we're gonna watch over you, but you're gonna have to pay like you weigh. And once he made that agreement, and once he decided that he was gonna sign over to the other side, once he decided that he was going to basically sign, you know, he took an oath to be a part of a street organization who you pay in blood. Their payment plan and the way that you pay is either in cash or in blood. And this is something that this young man knew. So by buying, he bought himself into a safe situation that was never safe to begin with. He was only buying time, because eventually when he stopped feeding the quote-unquote wolves, what did they do? They bit him. There was a discrepancy that took place between one person that was extorting him, or one party that was extorting him, versus another party. He was tired of paying both parties, so he decided to end a relationship with one party and stick with the other party, which was Shoddy, and the other party, which was his security guard. I think his name is
Harv? Is that Harv?
Harv? Yeah, I believe it's Harv.
Is that when the kidnapping happened?
That's when the kidnapping happened, and he lied when he said that he basically snuck out of the car, was able to get out. No, he gave up his jewelry whilst begging for his life, and the payment for his life was the jewelry. You dig what I'm saying? They were able to pawn the jewelry based off of the fact that he had to pay out. You know what I mean? Because he wasn't going to be he didn't have these people on payroll anymore, so they were going to kill him. And he basically was buying time with gangsters who, as we know now, they were not of the same pedigree, they were not of the same stock, and they definitely were not of the same breed. Now, do I blame gang members who are actively looking for people to feed off of in order to help enrich their coffers? Not really. This is what they do. This is what they do. They do it. It's called extortion and racketeering, and pay for protection. They do it in jail. They do it in the industry, and they do it in the streets. Like I said, your favorite rapper, the nigga who's throwing up gang signs and all of that wasn't a gang member before the deal? Nigga, why do you think these rappers, all of them, what happens? They have their houses burglarized. Right? After a while, they always get their house burglarized and nobody knows what happens. No, what happens is they get their lives threatened. And instead of getting washed and whatnot, or instead of getting their lives taken, they agree, they give up the safe, or they give up the keys to the house, and whoever was abducted them or whoever kidnapped them or tied them up, they go up in the house and clean out all of the material items, and then that person has to start all over from the gate. That's what you see going on. These brothers are being extorted for protection or for clout. You feel me? So you was gonna say something?
No, I was gonna say I understand the extortion aspect of it, but the way they went about it, they was disrespecting LA gangs, they was disrespecting gangs in other territories where it created such a controversy, and they was like, why is this dude being so disrespectful? So they wasn't like following gang code the way they went about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I asked, is it their fault for creating that whole climate? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I mean, in those regards, definitely, you know, When it comes to situations like that, it's always the cooler head that should prevail. If you are what is known as an OG, or if you're known as a big homie, you're supposed to have a level of wisdom and whatnot, and a level of tact, and a level of, you know, your warfare should be more tactful, and theirs wasn't. You know what I mean? It was to the point where it was spiraling out of control because of the simple fact, as you see now, with the federal government laying out all of this evidence. Everything was being recorded, everything was being cataloged, everything was being surveilled. So these individuals were being what you know is what could be called reckless. These niggas were acting very reckless, and as a result of their reckless activity, we see the fallout right now where damn near the whole clique is, you know, got their football numbers.
Do you think this will, you know, we haven't seen nothing like this. I don't know how old everybody is. I was born in the 80s, but I heard about what happened in the 70s, I think, with Nicky Barnes.
Yeah.
So, you know, today's generation never seen this level of snitching. They haven't seen it in person. So to see this is like a viral sensation. This is like, oh shit, he's saying this, he's saying that, he's saying this, he's saying that. Yeah. What effect do you think this is gonna have on the social media gangsters or the internet thugs? Do you think this is gonna change the way they behave on the internet?
Thugs and the social media gangsters have already developed a narrative that exonerates Tekashi 6ix9ine for all of his activity. You gotta remember. They're saying that based off of the testimony that was revealed in the trial, that these individuals were trying to kill him, they were plotting on him, and they were extorting him. The internet trolls, or the people who were very much living vicariously through Tekashi, they don't have any wrong in that. They are invoking the quote-unquote laws of survival. They are invoking the, you know, they're invoking the Bussy Clause. You know what I'm talking about? They're invoking they're basically saying.
He said they was sleeping with his baby moms.
What I'm saying is,
sleeping with your baby moms, are you gonna?
That's what I'm saying. They're invoking all of the quote-unquote arguments that one would use to justify the actions that he took that are seen as completely off code and going against the oath that he took when he joined this organization, who basically has an oath of privacy and secrecy with the penalty being death. Right? They didn't say that we're gonna take the oath and you can't sleep with my baby moms or the oath is broken. They didn't say that we're gonna take the oath and if you niggas is trying to scheme on me, then I can't. No, you took an oath. You should have known from the gate. You didn't know these people. You wasn't playing in a sandbox. They wasn't there when you got your first tattoo. You know what I'm saying? You just met these guys. They don't have, the only glue that held y'all together was the fact that you were paying them. So to hear stories about niggas knocking down his baby moms, or the fact that they weren't treating him with the respect that you would think that they were treating him with, they didn't owe him anything. So he faced the fate that many people in his situation, especially in that underworld game, have faced on many occasions. You're playing inside of you're in a den of vipers. You're eventually gonna get bit. So I don't know, man. Like I said, they already have come up, they've exonerated him, and they've come up with mad rebuttals as to why they say that he's all right with them. They're like, yo, Tekashi's good with me. He finessed these niggas. Because if not, if he went and did life with them, they all would have been the bigger fools. At least somebody's getting out of this situation with their freedom. And they're saying that Tekashi is the benefactor of that. And if it were them, they would have did the same fucking thing. So there's certain eras that don't exist anymore. That era when Nicky Barnes basically created that crack in that quote unquote, he created that chink in the armor. Fast forward to today, clout chasing and with these commandments that the gangsters, the Nicky Barnes, the what's my guy, Bumpy Johnson and them, you know, and all of these people from that era, we're talking about a completely different stock and pedigree that does not exist anymore. What exists right now is people who are more in alignment with the Tekashi than are in alignment with a Bumpy Johnson, who to my understanding did not snitch. But a Nicky Barnes was one of the most, like you said, he's one of the original rats who basically decided to snitch because he found out that other players was knocking down his side chick. I don't even think it was his main whiz.
Yeah, right.
They was knocking down the help, and he got upset about that, and he told on everybody, right? So he violated his oath. He's a dealer of death. He's inside of a game that does not abide by the Constitution of the United States of America. They follow a whole nother Constitution, and he went against that Constitution. So does Tekashi.
So in his testimony that they released, I seen Jim Jones' name mentioned.
Yeah.
I think I seen Cardi B name mentioned as well.
I think Lil Nas X name was mentioned. Billy Ray Cyrus.
Trippie Red.
No.
Trippie
I'm
Red.
just joking.
Yeah.
Trippie Red's
Trippie
name
Redd
was mentioned. Casanova. 2 times. Name was mentioned. Jim Jones' name was
Cardi.
mentioned. I don't know about the Cardi aspect.
You don't know about that?
But what I do know is prosecution is on a Google shit. That nigga's Google right now. He's Siri. Anything that they ask him under oath, he's telling. The judge stopped the case today and said, fam, only answer the questions that we ask you. You telling too much.
You snitching that much?
Yo, the judge stopped the case. It's on record.
Never see nobody
I didn't make
that
this
much.
up. The judge was like, fam, only give us the names that we ask you. You're giving us too much. We don't got enough man hours to work these cases, nigga. It's all of these new indictments. They're Googling shit. They're asking him, yo, so what's up with Flat Earth? He's like, yo, according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, like,
who's a gang member?
You know what I'm saying? Who happens to be a non-trained. That nigga, yo, he's giving up everything about the culture. It's hilarious to watch. This shit is hilarious. It's showing you what 2020 is all about, my niggas. Okay?
2020 Ascension Conference, go ahead.
It's showing you this whole shit is a farce. It's a fallacy. If I see any of you, fam, he exposed it. It cannot stand on its own too after exposure like this.
You know, some people see Tekashi and they'll see what went down with him and Shotty and everybody, and they'll say, it's 2019. This gang shit is so stupid. Why are people still part of a gang in 2019? But at the same time, they'll see Nipsey and how Nipsey's funeral was, and the love Nipsey got from the Crips out there, Snoop or whoever, and they'll say, okay, there's a family element to street culture. Yeah. And it's gang shit. We may not understand it, but just like we got our own government, the streets got their own government.
That's a fact.
So do you understand the whole street culture of gangs in 2019, or do you think coming into 2020 and ascending into this new consciousness, do you think that's something we have to leave behind, or because they're single parent household, there's still an element that needs that?
I'm a team player, I respect the team. I respect the set. I respect the posse. I respect the crew. I respect the organization, and I respect the gang. Any group of individuals, I respect the lodge. You feel me? I respect the fraternal order. I respect that. Any group of individuals.
Respect organization.
I respect organization. Any group of individuals who come together and they committed to something and they take an oath to protect and never to leave each other behind, and it's them against the world, and they focus on whatever what their eye is on the prize, whatever the prize is, they get together as a brotherhood, a sisterhood, a familyhood, and they get to it. Man, to me, that is the quote unquote quintessential formula to success in this world that we live in. Because when I focus on those who are successful.
Is that like that Netflix movie? What's the Netflix thing? The Family, right?
Oh, The Family?
It's like sort of like that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, 19 entrepreneurs came together, right? Who were millionaires, and the purpose that they had was to forward the gospel of Jesus being the king. Remember, it wasn't about Christianity, it wasn't about Catholicism, it wasn't even about the Bible. They were pushing a narrative of Jesus being king. It said it's Jesus and that's it. They don't need nobody. What is Kanye's album's name? Jesus is the king. They're not talking about the church as you know it. They on some other time. They on a whole nother time. Yeah. So any group of individuals who could sacrifice their freedom, their safety, and put it all on the line and say that we willing to kill for this, yo, that's the
die for this.
Nigga, that's the or die for this. Then you are, that is the alchemy, that's the formula to a level of success in this capitalistic holographic universe that we live in right now. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, what do you think? I mean, for the people out there that can relate with Tekashi and they're thinking about his daughter, or they're thinking about, protecting yourself, and for the people that use the phrase self-preservation is the first law of nature.
Yeah.
What do you think of if that is the first law of nature? Some may say, man, that's a bitch-ass law of nature, because that causes you to do some animal-like shit. Like, animals do that, but animals is grimy. Do all types of shit. So what's your thoughts on that whole law of self-preservation is the first law of nature?
I mean, people that have been following that law throughout history have done some very selfish things. They've done some very questionable things. They've done some very dishonorable things to fulfill that law. You know what I'm talking about? But when you're in these organizations, when you're in the army, when you're in the armed forces, when you're in the mafia, you know what I'm talking about? When you're in certain organizations like gangs and whatnot, there are certain laws that supersede the self-law of preservation about it only being about you, because what is it? This thing of ours, right? Death before dishonor, family over everything, MOB. So when you take these oaths are made to supersede that other shit that you niggas grew up pledging allegiance to. When they take blood oaths and whatnot, those blood oaths supersede all that other shit that niggas is talking about. When the police take this oath of the blue wall of silence, their commanders and all of them say, yo, if you wrong, I'm wrong. We wrong together. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be wrong and strong.
That was going to be my next question, Red. I don't want to interrupt you, but
could jump into
the police, every time you hear about there's a such thing as good cops, in my experience, the good cop always stood there and was quiet while a bad cop harassed me or did some foul shit to me. The good cop was just quiet. He didn't say, hey, stop, leave him alone. He was just quiet. So,
yeah. That's the dynamic of policing, though, fam.
Yeah.
That's just a dynamic of policing. It's a formula. So, he would have activated when he needed to activate. They just had a formula that they were playing out. It's a dynamic that they've used throughout time to make you feel like you got a friend and an enemy, right? It's a war tactic.
They just made us seem so foolish for not snitching on each other. They'd be like, yo, why would you know what I'm saying? But
it's an interrogation /
right.
war tactic that they perfected through torture and other means of extracting information that, you have to be mentally astute in order to play that game of chess. It's actually chess. It's actually chess.
Yeah, that's exactly.
It's actually chess. So people don't understand. You watch 100 episodes of First 48 and you don't realize that there's a tactic that they play in interrogation. They said that nigga snitched he turned state in 48 hours.
Damn.
Tekashi turned state in 48 hours. Didn't happen later on down the line after he was thinking. No, that nigga flipped immediately. It's to my humble opinion that Danny Brasco was the police before he became blood. That's how I saw it. You know, I thought he
think
was
so?
the police since a rape charge that he
So
had.
you think
I think he was a
6ix9ine
plant.
it was a plant?
I feel that he was a plant.
A plant
And I
for
feel-
and what was the purpose of this plant?
To topple the gangs, the same way that they've been doing this from time immemorial. Look, they perfected in New York City taking down the gangs, Rod Diggs, especially the militant gangs. Because if you ever watch the video on Shotty, right, not the ones with the antics, when he's speaking his mind.
Who shot him?
Shotty.
Okay.
Very
what about
militant.
it? Militant?
Just militant.
Shotty, yeah?
Street knowledge. You know, street niggas. Militant street shit. You know, not the Poindexter shit, not the coonish shit, not the, you know, not the questionable. When you listen to Rod Diggs, who they gave life to, another gang member. When you listen to Rowdy Rebel and them when they was on their shit, not the rap part, when they were talking they talk. All militant. So one of the tenets behind what was used to be hip hop police, now it's the feds in New York. When you see Kenneth Supreme with the movie Crime Partners, militant street niggas who had street knowledge, who were connected, they had bread and they were militant. They're gonna take you down. Feds is coming in and they're gonna take you down. The whole shit that they were trying to do with the distribution with Suge, Jay Prince, and Supreme, that speaks to black militancy. It's too militant.
I was just watching an interview, an old interview.
Yeah.
With Chris Gotti.
With Chris Gotti, yeah.
and
He
was
talked
like,
about with
that
Vlad,
was
yeah.
the start of all the problems.
That's right.
He said, yo, that's when
right.
everything
So
started.
when them
all
boys,
the problems started.
remember, the feds are the surveillance, or they surveilling niggas. They're watching everything, right? They not moving on you. They just watching you.
watching.
They said they was watching Non-Trey since 2013. That was way before Tekashi. So what do surveillance mean? Surveillance means we're watching you. They got all of their text messages. They got all of their emails. They got all of their Instagram posts. So what do? They build up surveillance. They build up a dossier. They build up intelligence on you. They let you do what you got to do so they could connect other people to the shit that you doing. So what did they do? They watched these. They laid back and watched, and they listening. So these niggas be in the studio talking they shit. Yeah, son, I'm sending money to the billies behind the wall. Fuck these police. Fuck this. Fuck that. Once that shit go online, they gonna line you up. You know what I'm talking about? They gonna line you up. So you could bang in New York. You could be with the shits, but you gotta be completely with the shits. You have to play into their agenda to kill your own people, to basically be a serial murder to your own people. You have to be a part of depreciating the value in your own community. But the minute you niggas start trying to think and try to pull your money together, the minute you niggas start talking about sovereignty and all of this other stuff, you become a problem. They don't have that much patience for niggas that are considered traptivists. That's a trapper, that's an activist. The minute Big Meat started talking that shit, nigga, they took him down.
So you would say Meech is in that same category.
Go and listen. Yeah, if
Street
you could
knowledge.
you could
and
Google.
when he started kicking, that's when
facts.
they.
I did a video that I edited for Cavario from Fez magazine. And I was in 2011. We was in Atlanta. It's a phone interview, a 2-part series with Big Meech. And he's dropping, you know what I'm talking about? He's on his shit. And he also was a listener to Know the Ledge Radio. That's how we got a drop from him. So these brothers, unbeknownst to the little homies or to the brothers that are running around, running behind these gangs and whatnot, you don't understand the aesthetics, or you don't understand where certain people's mind state is at. The big homies who are on different time, they're on a different kind of time. So when they decide that they want to use their strength, and when they want to use their influence, and when they want to use their resources to get on some other shit, that's when they get taken down. I'm looking at the patterns. It's all over. Rod Diggs, Meech, Rowdy and them, you know what I'm saying?
The whole
with
Chris
GS9,
Gotti distribution deal.
the whole Chris Gotti and them with Kenneth Supreme.
Will Pac fall under that category and what he was trying to do? with that, or is that?
Not necessarily,
Okay.
because I'm talking about Fed beef.
Okay.
I'm speaking about when the boys come. The boys was watching him when he died. So he was under surveillance. Biggie was under surveillance. They're always watching. They're always following. They're always building up the dossiers. They're always doing shit like that. And there's a lot of people who are operating who basically got that federal visit, but they didn't lock them up. Everyone is not Tekashi. Some niggas are still rapping, but the feds got them. Feds got them. The niggas is informants. You know what I'm talking about? They sending tweets to J. Edgar Hoover. That's a fact.
That's interesting. I don't think a lot of people's approaching it from that perspective on the internet. This whole trial.
They're not.
So
They're
this
not.
is something new. I'm glad that you said what you said.
They're not. Go and research Mel Murder. Go and research the Shotty. Go and research some of these individuals. So, an individual like a Tekashi, who's a money cow, you fund the operation. You're good money because we have bigger purposes other than gangbanging and doing other things. We might want to put in some other kind of work. We might want to put in some Zimmerman work. So people like that are targets, bro. They're not letting that rock in the hip hop game where millions of dollars are floating around. They're crushing all of that. They're crushing all of that. One of the biggest labels in the city is federally monitored, Rock Nation. All right? It's a fact. Talk to Choke. All DEA. That's facts. I'm not making this up. So anything coming out of NY, yeah, you got to be careful how you moving because the hip-hop police is now the feds. The Tekashi case solidifies that. There's no more hip-hop police. It's all federal from this point. That nigga said the only person that he fears was the feds. And as you see, they bent him over and made it. He's touching his toe. He grabbed his ankles in 48 hours. And they got him like Google right now. He's Siri in the streets. Anything they ask him on that stand, he's answering. And he's giving extra information. You know, when you ask Google some shit and they tell you things you didn't even ask it, like, Google, slow down. I just asked you the length of a fucking hero.
Like, damn, Siri, you good,
I asked you the length of a foot, and they giving me centimeters and yards.
Like,
chill,
damn,
Siri. That's this dude right here. You know? He's voluntary. He knows where Jimmy Hoffa's buried. Shit.
Well,
you know?
Well, I want to, I don't want to.
So, hold on. For all of the sisters and the brothers out there who got teenagers and you think that they playing gang and all of that on the internet, nigga, they went following these weird niggas' leads. Okay? Trippie Red and all. They following these weird niggas. This is your little one who could get caught up in a RICO charge, who could get caught up and get Swiss cheese, who could get caught up and get banged out. Because they playing inside of a game that they know nothing about. This is not the internet, man. It's real life. And you're seeing the sad chapter close on some real life shit that, to be honest with you, could have been a murder. Could have easily been a body. Right? It could have been an XXX Tentacion. Easily. So hopefully this becomes a cautionary tale. So we could use cautionary tales as deterrents for our impressionable youth who all they know is either Lil Nas X riding the rodeos or gang. And in some situation, they combine the two. On
that note, we signing out, man.
Love and light. Peace.